This is Duke University.
We tried to focus on what we felt were a few key areas. One is how you can entice more individual investors into this market. We know that individual investors care about impact investment because they keep saying it in surveys. We know that the product suite that's available to them is very small. We know that individual investors start by saving for their pensions. So trying to put all that together and create more of an environment that supported impact investment through your pension, particularly through a defined contribution pension. That was an important element of our work. We focused on capacity building because we still find that demand for money, it's all very well, and I suppose the original thesis of Big Society Capital was we'll put a big lump of money on the table and then lots of people will come and get it. To an extent that has worked, but to a large extent it hasn't. And so providing ongoing support to social enterprises to learn or so they can understand better how capital can be used and what sort of programs they would be, that was an important element of what we looked at. And then the third element that we looked at was this question of the social business frontier. You know, what does it mean? Because we tend to draw this line between asset-locked, what we call regulated social organizations, principally nonprofits, and then the private sector who wants to do good on the other hand. And so I think trying to reconcile these two different sort of segments, particularly trying to understand when we talk about profit with purpose, what do we really mean by that? And particularly how can companies who claim to be social companies, how do they demonstrate that and by locking in a social mission that protects the underlying social mission of the company? Government has a really important part to play in market development. That's not just true in impact investment, it's true in every market. It was true in the venture capital market, it was true in the microfinance market, it was true in a whole host of different markets. Government money started the internet. So government always has an important role. It has a particularly important role also in social impact, in impact investment, because so much of what we do is addressing issues that is intended to address issues that really governments should be addressing, but either don't have the ability or the money to do. And I think a large part of what's driven the development of BSC and the support that we've had, the policy support from the UK government, has been this idea that the development of an impact investment market can not only help to address difficult social issues, but can also help government itself become more effective in the way that they spend their money. What are the differences between the US and the UK in terms of how we think of social entrepreneurship? I don't think there are huge differences. I think at the heart we still think about people who are bringing new, original, innovative ways of solving social problems and doing so in a way that embraces and uses the market and capital. I think there's some differences in terms of expectation as to how that service or how those social entrepreneurs, the legal form, if you like, that they will adopt. I think the US has been more willing to adopt more private sector models. The UK is still very much focused on, or largely focused on, more social sector models, so through nonprofits and others, what we call community interest companies. But I think broadly the underlying spirit of what the entrepreneur is trying to do is very much the same. What I'd love to see in 10 years' time in the social enterprise sector in the UK is that the organizations are delivering, that the organizations are larger, have easier access to capital, are delivering a broad range of services, particularly on behalf of government, and that this is making a real difference to people's lives, because at the end of the day, that's what this movement is all about. Is about changing people's lives.